One of the decisive issues in the presidential campaign is likely to be health insurance. Texas and Ohio vote on Tuesday, and those states alone have nearly 7 million uninsured residents. Nationwide, 47 million have no health insurance. But that's just the start, because millions more are underinsured, unable to pay their deductibles or get access to dental care. Recently, we heard about an American relief organization that airdrops doctors and medicine into the jungles of the Amazon. It's called Remote Area Medical, or RAM for short. Remote Area Medical sets up emergency clinics where the needs are greatest, but these days, that's not the Amazon. This charity, founded to help people who can't reach medical care, now finds itself throwing America a lifeline. In a matter of hours, Remote Area Medical set up its massive clinic in an exhibit hall for a weekend in Knoxville, Tennessee. Tools for dentists were laid out by the yard. Optometrists prepared to make hundreds of pairs of glasses. General medical doctors set up for whatever might come through the door. Nearly everything is donated. Everyone is a volunteer. The care is free, but no one could say how many patients might show up. The first clue came a little before midnight when Stan Brock, the founder of Remote Area Medical, opened the gate outside the exhibit hall. The clinic wouldn't open for 7 hours, but people in pain didn't want a chance being left out. State guardsmen came in for crowd control. They handed out what would become precious slips of paper. Numbered tickets to board what amounted to a medical lifeboat.
We brought some snacks with blankets.
Well, I hope to stay warm. It's kind of chilly tonight.
It was 27 degrees. The young and the old would spend the night in their cars, running the engine for heat, but not too much, not at $3 a gallon. At 5 a.m., we took a walk through the parking lot.
How long have you been out here tonight?
We got up at 3 o'clock this morning, and we got here about 4. We've been out here for a little while. It's cold.
Why'd you come so early?
Because we wanted to be seen.
Marty Tankersley came with his wife and his daughter, asleep behind the front seats.
You drove 200 miles to get here?
Yes, sir.
And slept in this parking lot for 7 or more hours?
Yes, sir.
Just to have this done?
Yes, sir. I've been in some very excruciating pain.
He had an infected tooth that had been killing him for weeks. Most of the people who filled the lot heard about the clinic on the news or by word of mouth, and they came by the hundreds.
We're very happy that you're here this morning. We've got a lot of really fine volunteer doctors, dentists, eye specialists.
Stan Brock calls RAM clinics medical expeditions. He takes all comers, but just for the weekend.
When you set up the first expedition in the United States, were you surprised at the number of people who came?
Yes. Yes, I was. And the numbers are getting higher. And I don't know if it's because we're getting better known or that the healthcare in this country is getting worse. Who's got number 1? Come on down. Number 1, number 2.
On Saturday at 6 a.m., they entered by the numbers.
Number 3.
Inside, 276 volunteers from 11 states were waiting.
Are you here for medical, dental, or vision?
When was the last time you had a breast exam by a nurse or a doctor? Never?
20 years ago. 25 years ago.
For those who were diagnosed with cancer today or diabetes or heart disease, RAM will try to find a volunteer doctor who will follow up. Ross Isaacs is one of the doctors.
Who are these patients?
It's the working poor in the middle of their lives, most with families, most not substance abusers, and employed without adequate insurance.
Dr. Isaacs saw Marty Tankersley, the man we met in the parking lot who'd driven 200 miles. It turned out that Tankersley a few years back had 2 heart attacks and heart surgery, but almost no follow-up since.
So you haven't seen somebody in a while with regards to your ticker and stuff.
The Tankersleys live in Dalton, Georgia. They fall in the category of the underinsured. Marty's a truck driver. He has major medical insurance through his employer, but the deductible is $500, really unaffordable. and the dental insurance costs too much. No one really knows just how many Americans are underinsured, like the Tankerslys.
He's the lucky one that could drive the 200 miles. He's the lucky one that got to see people today and get hooked in. There are tens of hundreds of thousands of people like him.
Marty, his wife and daughter were seen for checkups, glasses, mammograms, and the yanking of that agonizing tooth.
This has truly been a godsend to us, to me and my family, and to all the hundreds of people that's here. I see the faces, the relief in the faces. This has been a wonderful thing.
This was Ram's 524th expedition. Ram took off in 1992, airlifting relief to Latin America, and at age 71, Stan Brock still flies the antique fleet. That C-47 flew on D-Day. Brock is British by birth, an adventurer at heart. He was a cowboy in the Amazon, and then, incredibly, he was discovered by TV's Wild Kingdom. Brock became a star, sort of a naturalist daredevil.
It took only a moment for the situation to totally reverse itself.
Today, Brock is devoted to Ram, completely devoted. He has no family, takes no salary, has no home. Brock lives in an abandoned school that the city of Knoxville leases to Ram for $1. Until recently, he took showers in the courtyard with a hose.
When we see what we've seen over the last weekend, how do you pay for all of that?
In the first place, we really know how to stretch the dollar. We operate entirely on the generosity of the American people. I'd like to say that we had big corporate support in America, but we don't. So it's those little checks from those people that send in the $5 and the $10.
Ram operates on a shoestring, about $250,000 a year, and yet last year it treated 17,000 patients. On this Saturday, there was no sign of a let-up.
What have you accomplished today?
Well, we've basically had 600 or so people that have arrived here overnight, and we were able to do just about everybody. I think we may have turned away about 15 people who are going to come back tomorrow morning anyway.
The next day, Sunday, there were hundreds more. Tickets started again with the number 1, but now the doctors were racing time. In hours, they'd be headed home.
Who's got 361? 362? 362, 363.
And we're really glad that you came in, especially given...
Nurse practitioner Teresa Gardner was worried about Rebecca McWilliams. McWilliams had surgery for cervical cancer in 2005, but without the recommended follow-up.
How long has it been?
It's been about 2 years since I've had my last pap smear, and I was supposed to have every 6 months, and I've really only had it once since that surgery.
You know, I think many doctors would say you've taken a terrible risk.
Yeah.
Waiting this long.
I really have, but it's just, like I said, it's very hard to afford it. I have 3 kids, and my husband lost his job this past summer.
McWilliams' pap smear came back clear, but in her exam, Gardner found reason to worry.
I think just from, the clinical inspection of the cervix, that, possibly there is possibility of that cancer, still being there.
She was 28 years old.
28 years old, the mother of 3.
You've created this medical organization that was designed to go into third world countries, to go into remote places, and now you're doing 60% of your work in urban and rural America. What are we supposed to make of that?
That for 50 million or so people in this country, the one thing that is on their mind is, what if I have a catastrophic event, a car crash, heart attack?
Because they don't have health insurance.
Because I either have no health insurance or I'm underinsured. And so this is a very, very weighty thing to be thinking about, knowing that your family is in great jeopardy.
376, 377, 378, 379, 380.
Late on Sunday, Joanne Ford's number was among the last to be called. We found her sitting by a stairwell.
And you don't have that?
Well, no, not on a Social Security disability income.
She's retired, living on disability with no insurance, and her glasses don't work anymore. She got in, only to find out that the vision care line had closed.
How is your vision?
I bet in my left eye it's probably, I couldn't see your face. The Lord will take care of me. The Lord will provide. The Lord will provide.
But not today.
But not today. So I got to look for another option, but I'll find one.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I have a lot of good friends, and I have a lot of church support. I was very active in my church. I have a lot of friends at church. I just hate to ask. I've worked all my life. I hate to ask. That's why things like this are so wonderful.
There is no shame in seeking health care.
No, you're right. You know, it really, I am sad that we are the wealthiest nation in the world and we don't take care of our own. So, but it will be okay.
And it did turn out okay after all. Someone at RAM noticed Joanne's situation. They put her in the vision care line and examined her for a new pair of glasses.
If I may have your attention, please. I'm afraid that we've got some rather disappointing news.
But at the gate, many were waiting when the weekend ended.
449 and 450.
In the expedition to Knoxville, RAM saw 920 patients, made 500 pairs of glasses, did 94 mammograms, extracted 1,066 teeth, and did 567 fillings. But when Stan Brock called the last number, 400 people were turned away.
What's going through your mind when you're reading off the last 2 or 3 numbers and you see so many more people at the gate than are going to be able to come in?
Yeah, well, you know, that's the lousy part of this job. I mean, it's nice to, you know, to be able to know that you've helped a bunch of people, but the reality is that we can't do everybody. At the moment, we're just doing the thousands and thousands of people that we can, and the rest of them, unfortunately, have got to do the best they can without us.